for equipment for Afghanistan to protect our troops has been given. We have paid the money that is necessary to make the equipment available.
Mr. Brown, equipment. I was speaking to soldiers coming back from Afghanistan. They're still having to buy their own equipment, webbing, body armour. Give them what they want, please. There are troops.
Well, I just say to you, I say to you honestly, every piece of equipment that's been asked for, whether it's body armour or whether it's vehicles or whether it's new helicopters that we've needed, when they've asked me and asked the Treasury, and I say to our commanders, before they do any operation, please assure me that you've got the equipment that is necessary to do this operation, otherwise I will not give approval for it. And we just had Operation Mushtarak, which is trying to clear a ground where the Taliban have been active. And I said to the Chief of the Defence Staff beforehand, you tell me that you have got the equipment necessary for this operation before we give the go-ahead for it to happen. And they assured me that they had the equipment that was necessary for this operation. And it's been
the former Chief of the Defence Staff said that was disingenuous.
It's been a successful operation. Well, I've said before that I think he's wrong on that, because he wasn't there when I've been giving the approvals and I've been talking to the present Chief of the Defence Staff about what's necessary. You cannot be cavalier about going to war. It is tragic. So you have got to assure yourself as a Prime Minister that everything possible is being done. And I just say to you, I would not allow our troops to go into a war situation and into a particular operation without knowing they had the proper equipment.
Prime Minister, I want to ask you a very narrow question about the helicopter budget. And I heard what you said at Chilcot and I listened very carefully to it. But in 2004, would you accept that the helicopter budget was cut from £4.4 billion to £3 billion?
No, I don't accept
just that narrow point in that year.
Look, what happened in 2004 was that we agreed a new budget settlement with the Ministry of Defence. They got more money than they had, and then they made the decision about their ordering programme for the future. And as it happens, of course, we bought Merlins, we bought them from the Danes, and we changed the Chinooks. So the helicopters in Afghanistan are as much as we could have done in the time available. Even if we'd ordered helicopters in 2004, they wouldn't be ready now.
Yeah, just another question, Mr. Brown. We're in Afghanistan for the terrorist threat.
Yes.
That's right. Yeah. Okay. Now, Al-Qaeda terrorists also in Yemen, Iran, and also in this country, unfortunately.
Absolutely.
Okay, yeah. Now, at the end of the day, you're going to have to do peace talks with the Taliban, like we did with the IRA, to bring peace to the country. Do you agree with that? And how long are we going to be there for? How many more?
The reason we're in Afghanistan and on the Pakistan border is because 3/4 of the terrorist plots that hit London or hit this country, hit Birmingham and everything else, come from these areas. So this is not like some other parts of the world. This is the main area. This is the main area of terrorist threat. As far as the Taliban is concerned, we are prepared to work with those who renounce violence. We are prepared to work with those who say that they'll embrace a democratic Afghanistan, but we are not going to be prepared to work with people who continue to try to kill our British troops. We will work with those who say violence is over, we're coming to the peace table, but we're not going to work with people who are at the moment trying to kill our troops.
But how long do you think we're going to be there for? Because when we leave, they'll be back doing the same thing again.
What we're doing at the moment is increasing the Afghan army and police. So by next year, there'll be 300,000 Afghan soldiers and Afghan police. At the moment, they're being trained by us. So there will come a point when there'll be twice as many Afghan soldiers and police as coalition, mainly American soldiers and police, and we'll be able to run down our numbers as a result of the Afghan army and the Afghan police maintaining order in their own country. And that's our aim at the moment, to get the Afghans trained so that they can run the country themselves and we can bring our troops home. Okay. That's the strategy.
Let's move on now, because I want to talk about matters at home and the problem of crime. And Brett Taylor, let me bring you in now, because I think you've had kind of bad experience recently yourself.
Yeah, some years ago I was burgled, and basically I was not happy with the imbalance between the rights of the perpetrator of the crime and of the victim. I just wondered, politicians keep telling us that they're going to redress these issues, and nothing seems to happen. The victims of crime seem to be left behind. Where
okay, and thank you. Let me just bring in Ali Akhtar. Prime Minister, we'll get you to comment more fully on it.
Hello, Mr. Brown.
Good afternoon.
Having been a victim of burglary in the past, I'd just like to bring up a point. A few years back, well, about 10 years or so ago, there was your pledges, which one of them was on a card, tough on crime and tough on the causes of crime. You know, things haven't changed much. You know, you still see thuggery going on in the streets. Old people are afraid to come out the houses. You got this initiative which is antisocial behaviour initiative, which sounds doesn't sound it's like a soundbite, but it's more of a thuggery going on than antisocial.
I just wonder whether I can ask the audience, do you sense that there is more antisocial behaviour, whether it's thuggery, loutishness, binge drinking, whatever? I mean, just...
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
You've got to distinguish between loutish behaviour and binge drinking, which is a serious problem, and the attempts we've made with neighbourhood policing to try and make sure that people are safer on the streets. And I think neighbourhood policing is the key to the future, where you see a visible presence of your police on the streets. That's what's got to happen, and that's why we're trying to improve it over the next few years.
Prime Minister, that is totally wrong. The police and the community officers, whatever you want to call them, are walking by the cars that are fully parked on pavements, which is obviously illegal, and it's been illegal since before you even came into the party.
Okay, give a few more points on this.
It's a kind of, you know, we shouldn't be talking about police, we should be talking about why the people are doing what they're doing, and I think that's what you were saying, tough on the causes of crime. It's not just about stamping down on people who are doing the wrong thing. That doesn't actually solve the problem. Yes, you can punish them, but then what happens when they come out of the punishment? I think, I don't know the statistics, but my impression is that...
Well, there was a National Audit Office report, wasn't there, recently, about people who serve short sentences who come out and there's a very high risk of reoffending.
Yeah, but look, I've got to be honest with you, reoffending has fallen since 1997. The number of people reoffending has fallen by about 20%. There are more police on the streets, but I accept, as long as people feel unsafe on our streets, as long as people feel that they can't go out at night or that something may happen during the day with antisocial behaviour, then we have got to get a better service on the ground for people. The number of crimes are down, the number of violent crimes are down, but people must feel safe. Now, I think neighbourhood policing, despite your own experience, is more visible. We've said that you've got to spend 80% of time on the beat. You've got to hold local beat meetings with local people to talk to them about their needs. If you've got an inquiry, it's got to be answered quickly. You cannot be waiting for an inquiry to the police not to be answered. And on the victims commissioner, and I agree with you, the victim has got to be far better represented in the future and helped. First of all, not to be a victim in the first place, but then to get the help that's necessary. So we have a victims commissioner, we've got regional, in each region we've got someone representing the victim. So if you have a complaint, if you have an issue, they will represent you. And we're trying to change the balance of the service so that witnesses, victims, the hard-working people of this country are come first,
Okay,
and not the other